verse number 5.
وَلَقَدْ زَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِمَصَابِيحَ وَجَعَلْنَاهَا رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينِ وَأَعْتَدْنَا لَهُمْ عَذَابَ السَّعِيرِ.
And we have decorated the nearest sky with lamps, and have made them devices to stone the devils, and we have prepared for them the punishment of hell.
So this verse means that we have indeed decorated, so that what we see the stars, according to this verse, that is on the lowest sky. So whatever we are seeing as light years and this years and that years away distance, these are the stars. Allah says these are the lowest sky. وَجَعَلْنَاهَا رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينِ. And when any devil, according to the hadith, when Prophet Muhammad was born, the devils or shayateen used to hear the conversation between angels and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they would come and tell the sorcerer or the sham, what you call the men, or those people who were the leaders, they would used to come and tell them, those people who have possession of these jinn in their power, so they used to tell them a 1% of the information, because they were thrown with the fire. Since the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was born, the devil were forbidden from listening to the conversation between Allah or in the heavens. So these sorcerer or shaman or medicine man, whoever these people were, they used to add up about 99% into what they used to hear from shayateen, and people would believe in that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ زَيَّنَا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِمَصَابِيحَ, that we have decked the lowest sky with the lamps, which means the stars, the galaxies, what we're saying. رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينِ وَأَعْتَدْنَا لَهُمْ عَذَابَ السَّعِيرِ, and we have devised stone or fiery stones. So which may be one of the these what we call the comets. This is my assumption. I'm not sure what to make out of it, but any of the jinn, when they try to hear the conversation, since the birth of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they get a fiery ball thrown at them. And وَأَعْتَدْنَا لَهُمْ عَذَابَ السَّعِيرِ, and for them we have prepared a punishment of hell. وَلِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ عَذَابُ جَهَنَّمَ وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرُ, and those who denied their Lord from worshipping Allah, for them there is a painful punishment, and what a bad place they will end up with. Let's listen to the next verse.
وَلِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ عَذَابُ جَهَنَّمَ وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرُ.
And for those who disbelieved in their Lord, there is the punishment of Jahannam, and it is an evil end.
إِذَا أُلْقُوا فِيهَا سَمِعُوا لَهَا شَهِيقًا وَهِيَ تَفُورُ.
When they will be thrown in it, they will hear a terrible sound from it, and it will be boiling.
تَكَادُ تَمَيَّزُ مِنَ الْغَيْظِ كُلَّمَا أُلْقِيَ فِيهَا فَوْجٌ سَأَلَهُمْ خَزَنَتُهَا أَلَمْ يَأْتِكُمْ نَذِيرٌ.
Seeming as if it will burst out of fury. Whenever a group is thrown into it, its keepers will say to them, "Had no warner come to you?"
So each verses have so much to talk about. وَلِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ جَهَنَّمَ وَعَذَابُ جَهَنَّمَ وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرُ. إِذَا أُلْقُوا فِيهَا, when they will be thrown. Ulqu means alqa, means meeting, or they will be united in the hellfire. سَمِعُوا لَهَا شَهِيقًا, there will be a very terrible sound will be coming out of the hell. As we know that in other places we heard that when the people want to hear to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they got the voice they heard, and that caused them death. Sound can be fatal, as we know that certain frequency of sound. That is what we know from there. But have you also, maybe it's on the YouTube, you can look for the sound of space. And there is a very, very fearful kind of sound when you see the recording they have done in the space shuttle. That sound coming out of the space is very, very fearing. So this is what we know, and what will be there in the hell. That will be very severe, fire and flare and noise will be there. It will be boiling, as we could see the lava we see that is boiling. تَكَادُ تَمَيَّزُ مِنَ الْغَيْظِ. It will be seeming that it will burst out of anger, as we see the lava when it burst out in the volcanic eruption. It is something of that example we can physically imagine, but in the hellfire it will be much more, 70 times more stronger than that. كُلَّمَا أُلْقِيَ فِيهَا فَوْجٌ سَأَلُهُمْ. When anybody or those groups will be entered into that, فَوْجٌ سَأَلُهُمْ, the guards and the keepers will be asking. Fauj means the keepers, the guards, the protectors of that will be asking. Sa'alahum, will be questioning them. Khazanatuha, their protectors. Alam ya'tikum nazir, have you not come to you a warner, means the prophet. And this is talking to people of Mecca at this time of revelation, but this applies to all the time whenever people disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what these people will reply, and this is what is mentioned in the next verse.
قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير.
They will say, yes, a warner had come to us, but we had rejected and said, Allah has not revealed anything. You are only in great error. And
وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير.
And they will say, had we been listening or understanding, we would not have been among the people of the hell.
فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير.
Thus they will confess their sin. So, away with the people of the hell.
So verse number 9 to 11, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing the state of people who are disbeliever. When they will see all that, they will be regretful and they will wish that had they listened to the Prophet, the advice or the messenger, what he came to teach them. If they will call themselves وَقَالُوا لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ. They will say, had we heard or we had some intellect or understanding. مَا كُنَّا فِي أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. Sa'ir is one of the 7 grades of the hellfire. So they will say, we would not have been. Sa'ir is the burning fire. فَاعْتَرَفُوا بِذَنبِهِمْ. Then they will confess their sin. فَسُحْقًا لِأَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. So then these people will be with the people of hellfire. Sa'ir is one mentioned. As we know, there are 7 levels. I forgot those names, but then just to know, inshallah, I will find that information. I'll share next time. Now the conversation is changing about those people who are believers. What will they get?
إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير.
Surely, for those who have awe of their Lord without seeing him, there is forgiveness and a big reward.
وأسروا قولكم أو اجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور. ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير.
Whether you keep your talk secret or make it aloud, he knows well what lies in the hearts. Is it imaginable that he who has created them will not have such a knowledge, while he is the knower of the finest things, the all-aware?
هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور.
He is the one who has made the earth subjugated for you, so walk on its shoulders, and eat out of his provision, and to him is the resurrection.
أأمنتم من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور.
Have you become fearless of him who is in the sky if he makes you sink into the earth, and it starts trembling at once?
أم أمن
So in these last few verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begin with the people who are those who fear Allah, those who have humbleness and humility towards the faith and worship their Lord. They will be of the God unseen, bil ghaib. For them there is a forgiveness and great reward awaited for them. That is the people of Islam and believing. وَأَسِرُّ قَوْلُكُمْ أَوْ وَجْهَرُ. So if you secretly keep what you want to say or whisper, or what you say, innahu alimun bidhati sudur. Indeed, Allah has the knowledge of what you are holding in your chest, in your heart. Ala ya'lam man khalaq. Do they not need? Is it imaginable that He who created them? Huwa al-latif al-khabir. And He is very fine. For latif is something very beautifully fine and aware of it. It means Allah is aware of every finest thing, that what you think or you talk about, because He knows what is in the person's heart. هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا. Allah is the one who made and subjugated earth for you to walk on it. فَامْشُوا فِي مَنَاكِبِهَا, so that you could walk on the shoulder of the earth. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving a simile of walking on the earth is like walking on the shoulders, because earth has a crust, and then there's a lava and magma and whatever liquid form under the crust. Then there's ocean. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving an example that what is walking on the earth is like we are walking on the back of the earth. Sometimes it is given example we are walking on the back of the earth, or we are on the chest of the earth, or we are walking on the shoulder of the earth. وَفِي مَنَاكِبِهَا وَكُلُوا مِنْ رِزْقِهِ. And then Allah has subjugated earth that you can walk on it and eat whatever in a sustenance. He says وَإِلَيْهِ النُّشُورُ. And ultimately you will be returning to Him, and is your resurrection. Nushur is the ultimate return, is to, as we say, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Indeed, for you come from Allah, the soul goes back to Allah. Fiha khalaqnakum wa fiha nu'idukum wa fiha ta'ratun ukhra. That you are the one who came out of it, and then you go back into it, which is the grave, and then you will be resurrected on the day of judgment. Amantum man fis sama. That do you become fearless from the one who has the skies? If He make an yakhsifa bikum al-ardh, He could make the earth sinkholes. We have seen the sinkholes in the different places, in Florida often happen, and fahiya iza tumur, and it might start shaking and trembling, as those people who have lived in the volcanic trouble area, they can experience those trembling. That's very fearful moment if somebody have a sinking of the earth, or those who have experienced the earthquake. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving an example for those people who live in a steady ground and still do not respect, love, and care, and believe in Allah, and do good righteous deed to the others. And as some scholar says, Allah did not need human to worship, but Allah created human to worship Him, because before human there were angels, and there were enough angels to praise the glory to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah made us as the beautiful creation, as a perfect being, and He gave us the knowledge which nobody else had, and yet we start worshipping false gods. So let's listen to verse number 17.
أم أمنتم من في السماء أن يرسل عليكم حاصبا فستعلمون كيف نذير.
Or, have you become fearless of him who is in the sky if he looses a violent wind with stones against you? So, you will soon come to know how was my warning.
ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير.
And of course, those before them also rejected the truth. So, how was my censure?
أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبضن ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير.
Have they not looked to the birds above them spreading their wings, and, at times, they fold them in? No one holds them up except the Rahman, the All-Merciful. Surely he is watchful of everything.
So verse number 17 is talking about that you, those who disbelieve, you are fearless of that the God who is in the heavens, that he could send Rasul, means send yursila alaykum upon you hasiba. Hasiba is one of the winds which we see when we have a thunderstorm and the winds and what we call the tornadoes type of things, and they're very severe hot wind, or which has a scalding or burning sensation in it. The first فَسَتَعْلَمُونَ كَيْفَ نَذِيرٌ, then so that soon you will come to know what is my warning. In other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to tell the mankind that I can do all this. You're worshipping these false gods and handmade, handcrafted structures as divine. They have nothing to do with my creativity and my being God, and they have nothing in them of being divine or godly. So وَلَقَدْ كَذَّبَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ, and indeed those who denied before them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَكَيْفَ كَانَ نَكِيرٌ, so they came to what? So they came to also happen what, just see the example like the people of Ad and Samud, which were the people who were living next to the Mecca, and their history was known to those people of the Mecca, and also today all world knows that what happened to those disbelievers. أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا إِلَى الطَّيْرِ, now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving another example of the birds when they are flying, and this topic, this verse opens a whole research topic for Muslim to study that how the birds fly and how they stay in the space or in the winds and in the atmosphere when they fold their wings. So who holds them? And you see that we have heard about these birds which is travel from thousands of miles without stopping and without taking any break. It captures the moisture through its nostril and eat the planks or whatever the insects in the space, and they fly non-stop, and their half of the brain sleep at time and half of the other brain sleep at a different time, and they have their wings spread out, and they have a non-stop flight from all the way from Alaska into the Australia. So these are the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation, and it says who is holding them when their wings are closed or when their wings are open? Ma yamsikuhunna illa rahman, except the merciful. Innahu bikulli shay'in basir, indeed he is watching over everything. Allah is watching without physical eyes. Allah is hearing without physical ears. Allah is beyond physical imagination. So this is something very interesting to understand. And next verse 20, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further talks about
أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي هُوَ جُنْدٌ لَكُمْ يَنْصُرُكُمْ مِنْ دُونِ الرَّحْمَنِ إِنِ الْكَافِرُونَ إِلَّا فِي غُرُورٍ.
Now, who is there to act as a force for you to help you, except the Rahman? The disbelievers are in nothing but delusion.
أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي يَرْزُقُكُمْ إِنْ أَمْسَكَ رِزْقَهُ بَلْ لَجُّوا فِي عُتُوٍّ وَنُفُورٍ.
Or, who is there to give you sustenance, if he withholds his sustenance? Still, they persist in rebellion and aversion.
أَفَمَنْ يَمْشِي مُكِبًّا عَلَى وَجْهِهِ أَهْدَىٰ أَمَّنْ يَمْشِي سَوِيًّا عَلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ.
Then, is the one who walks falling down, frequently, on his face more right, or the one who walks properly on a straight path?
قُلْ هُوَ الَّذِي أَنشَأَكُمْ وَجَعَلَ لَكُمُ السَّمْعَ وَالْأَبْصَارَ وَالْأَفْئِدَةَ قَلِيلًا مَا تَشْكُرُونَ.
Say, he is the one who has originated you, and made for you ears and eyes and hearts. How little you pay gratitude.
قُلْ هُوَ.
So in these verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again giving the examples for person and mankind to understand that if it's the one who gives sustenance and if he stopped the sustenance, and according to the belief that people live as long as they have their rizq written for them. Once the rizq is finished, the body has to leave the soul. And this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is predestined among the 5 things which happens when the baby is born in the womb of their mother: the rizq, the sustenance of that person, the age of that person, and the death moment of that person, and whether this person will be righteous or unrighteous. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further is talking about أَفَمَنْ يَمْشِي مُكِبًا عَلَى وَجْهِهِ, and is that the one who walks down frequently on his face from the right of the one who walks properly on the straight path. So these are the example of those who disbelieve and the believer, what their example is. Qul, say, O beloved, huwa allazi ansha'akum, he is the one who originated you. Ansha'a means, this is very important to understand. Ansha'akum, he created you from not being to being. Wa ja'ala lakum as-sam'a wal absara, and he gave you these senses, the 5 senses, among them hearing and seeing, wal afida, and the intellect which is given. According to some scholar, afida is the midbrain, the one which is the one which processing and the thinking, or some says cortical brain. Afida qalilan ma tashkurun, that little of you that you gratitude on this or